about much more than just being happy or displaying an upbeat attitude. Positive thoughts can actually create real value in your life and help you build skills that last much longer than a smile. Positive attitude helps you recognize what you're good at, notice opportunities. You pretty much just see only the good in life. On the other hand, if you're all about that negative life, well, you only get to, make your brain only think of specific actions. They prevent your brain from seeing anything good. All of the choices, opportunities, all of them, they just don't exist. Now, nonetheless, the impact of positive thinking on your work, your health, and your life cannot be overemphasized. The question is, how do you actually get yourself to be positive? That's what we're going to be discussing this morning on Social Hour. So as I walk to the podium, we do have guests with us. Now, some of them have been here on the show before. One of them is new, so we get to meet all of them. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So good to have you in the studio.
Nice to have
you. Are we
you.
amped to talk about this?
Oh, yes.
Yes, fantastic. So let me start with you. What is your name and what do you do?
My name is James G. Minor. I'm a pastor and an author and also a success coach.
Oh, success coach?
Yeah.
Wow, that is a coach we need.
Yeah.
That is a coach we need. Thank you so much for joining us, James. And what is your name?
Name is Jeff Mthiwa. I am a life coach. I work with Destiny Life Coaching.
Yes.
Helping people get results in their lives, in their relationships, in their health.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All round.
All round.
All right,
just
fantastic.
Getting yourself in a place where you're happy and living the life that you truly want.
Okay. Yeah. And who do we have?
Well, a lot of people call me Stephen.
Okay.
But my name is Kegwa, Stephen Kegwa.
Okay, Stephen Kegwa.
People say that I do motivation, but basically what I do is inspiration. I give people inspiration, inspired education to live optimized lives. So you can say I'm a corporate trainer, a seminar leader, all that, and I'm an author as well.
Oh, yes. Are you Jeff? You're the only one who needs to write books, especially since you're teaching us about success. Now, it's so interesting how when Stephen, the last time you came on the show, you were turning 40.
Yes.
I will not say how old I'm turning. 21. We'll go 21. but it's so good.
For how many times are you going to be 21?
I think I've been 21 for a minute now. I think I'll be 22 maybe in like 3 years.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much. But it's so good to have all of you in studio. And it's so interesting that you all make money as well from this one thing that comes so easy from you. Why do you think it's so hard, James, for us to just train our minds to think positively?
It's because I believe the way we are wired up in our society, the way we are born, we grew up with parents. Most of them, they knew the best way to train us is to tell us, you will never make it.
Oh, was that supposed to be like to trigger you now to make it?
Yeah, that's the best they knew how. So we were nurtured in a system or where we are told you can't make it. And the other thing is, when a child goes to school, they are taught how to color within the lines.
Yes.
But when a kid, is like in nursery school, you tell them to draw. They draw across 2 pages, 3 pages. So in life, we are taught for so long how to color within the lines. So there are so many don'ts that you have had until by the time you're a grown-up, you're not creative.
Yes.
And most people actually, research has said it, that kids are more creative than older people. It's because a child has been, has an open mind. For example, I was washing a car with my kids, and they are enjoying the bubbles. They're having fun.
And
they're
the
like,
water.
And the water.
Yes.
Oh, this is so nice. You tell the house help to wash the car, she has an attitude. So the kids are creative, and that's why we need to really let the kid in us, the baby, the creative person in us, to still come alive.
Yeah. And it's so unfortunate because we have so many people who are talented in different things, and I think they take it to the grave. And once we had someone here in studio, and I don't remember who it is, and they told us that it is so sad that the richest place on earth is the graveyard, because
Dr.
that's where...
Miles Monroe.
Yes.
Miles
So
Monroe.
it is true, right? Because that's where people go and die with potential and all these dreams.
Yes.
So when should the training start, ideally, Jeff?
The training should start at home and at a personal level. You see, we are where we are because of our story we tell ourselves. If you begin today to tell yourself a story that I am enough, that things I can create stuff, but like Pastor said, we are cultured in a negative environment. Well, from the first day you're told you're not you're not enough, you can't. You're preached can'ts. So many can'ts that you believe.
Yeah. So you don't see any can.
You don't
There's
see
a lot of
any
can.
unless you come to a place when, of course, you take advantage of that, because there are many people who've moved out of negativity and created positive. Now, that's another shift, because the shift is to tell yourself that my story can change, and I have the responsibility to change the story. Because if I don't do that, then I remain a victim, blame my parents, blame the society, blame the church, blame the mosque, blame other people, and not take my own personal responsibility. Change happens when I say, this is my life, this is my story, something needs to change. And only me can change that. And that story is in the mind. The story that you tell yourself and the state that you put yourself into. The belief that you have about yourself. Who are you really? When you answer that question, and some of us answer that question in reference to the past. I am my grade. I am my failed relationship. I am, what my father told me.
So how should I answer that question? What is that based on? It should only be focused on what I'm good at? Or
what you're good at, but also a revelation of what do I want? So the first thing when we are helping people in life coaching create your ideal life, the first thing is to acknowledge where I am.
Okay.
Where am I? Acknowledge there are weeds in my garden. Because again, positive thinking is not thinking, going to your garden and saying there's no weed, there's no weed, there's no weed.
No, that's not.
It's
I don't have any problems, I don't have any problems.
Yeah. Looking at those weeds and say, wow, my garden is so full of weeds, I got work to do.
Yes.
And actually begin to work on that. So it's to look at your life and be true to yourself.
Yes.
What is truly wrong with your life today? What needs to change? And the next step is, where are you going? Now that you know where you are at, there are weeds that need to be uprooted. What are some of the rituals? What are some of the things that can put you in a place where you can work the life of your dream?
You see, Stephen, and I'll ask you this, and he's raised a very interesting point, where you are and where you want to go. A lot of us don't know where we want to go, and that's probably because our parents have made decisions for us for so many years that now when you're 25, all of a sudden now you are supposed to think for yourself, so you don't know who you are. Can you train me to find out where I want to go and what I want to achieve and what I am good at?
Actually, someone said that if you don't know where you're going, then the road will take you there.
Yes.
The problem is that when you get there, you will not know you have arrived because you didn't know where
you're going anyway.
In fact, I have a version to that if you don't know where you're going, you don't need to go, because where you are right now is somewhere.
Yes.
And I think it is not something that someone from outside can actually give you. It has to, like what Jeff said, it has to be a revelation coming from within you, saying this is the kind of person I want to be, this is the kind of life I want to live. You have to have your own personal definition of what you want to achieve in life, what success is for you. Because success is not really, driving a big car. There's nothing wrong with that, or living in a mansion.
But success is relative.
Success is actually what you define for yourself, that this is what success is.
So it can be different.
It can be different.
Success for me is eating good food every day. Yours is different.
For example, yes. For example, for a mother who decides to stay at home to take care of her children, and she does that perfectly, that is success for her.
That is success.
Yes.
That is definitely success. A lot of working women wish they would do that. Being a mom and being there by itself is work. Now, James, a lot of the times with the weight that Jeff is talking about, they include your friends, they include your families, who bring you down without noticing. Can that happen? Where they're tearing you down slowly without you noticing?
Oh, yes. Actually, bad company.
Yeah.
It ruins good morals. And the thing I look at success is that you have to create an image within yourself, because what you are is what you reproduce. I'll give an example. There are so many young men right now who are getting opportunity, let's say like the celebs or the people who are, really kind of coming up so quick, get some money, but you see within them they had a poverty mentality. So somebody gets the money, and within no time, when their season is over, they're back to poverty because they had not become rich. And that's why if I give you $1 million, I don't make you a millionaire. I have to change the image in you. That's why you realize people who are so wealthy, and they made themselves to get there, they walked there, they had the image. Even if this person becomes bankrupt, within a few years, they'll be back on their feet. because the image within them is what makes them that. It's not what's in your pocket. It's the image that is within you. And it applies to marriage. Some people are divorce going somewhere to happen while they are still single because of the image in them.
They were already single even when they were married.
Yeah, they were already
single. They never felt like they were in a unit.
Yeah.
In fact, they even see the divorce one, they are still saying, I do.
Yeah.
So it
So
happens.
do you think prenups are things that, preempt divorces, or is that just being careful?
It's a mental attitude. And let me tell you, thoughts are so powerful.
They
Thoughts
are.
are things. In fact, thoughts are, like you said, are mental pictures. And you become exactly what you envision yourself to be. You can be in hospital. I actually know two guys. One of them had an accident. One of them was just injured, slight injury on the leg. The other one was a serious injury on the spine. The guy who was injured on the spine was telling himself while he was lying on the hospital bed, saying, I will get out of here. I'll get out of here. I'll go back to play basketball. But the guy who had a fracture on the leg said, oh, look at my leg. Will I ever get up? After today, that guy cannot walk.
And the guy with
The guy who had a spine injury plays basketball.
But sometimes it's reality. The doctor has already said, based on scientific research, that how your knee broke or fractured.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Thinking is so powerful. In fact, thinking is a hard job. That's why most people don't do it. In fact, it's said 95% of the entire population on the earth don't think. 2% think that they think.
But they don't think.
Only about 3% really think. And those are the guys who have this, the wealth and all that. In fact, I even dare say that if you took the entire wealth of the world, divided it equally among us, it will still add up in a matter of years to the guys who think the 3%. Thinking is so powerful. It is scientific, it's religious, it's actually scriptural, it's biblical. The founding father of human psychology, Sir William James, said that we become what we envision ourselves to be. Buddha taught and said that we are as a result of the thought that we have been thinking. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Thoughts are things, they are powerful. You can never escape from your thoughts.
You know what I believe?
Yes.
I have a few friends who believe in this power of positive energy and believe in their words and speak things into existence. And I've seen it happen for myself. I've seen someone say, next month I am going to buy a car. And I'm like, we are uku eating on the street. We can't even afford this bajia for 5 bob. How are you going to buy a car? And somehow you're blessed. The next day you got a call and the next day this happens. But that doesn't happen for everybody. Is that how it's supposed to work, where you just speak things and they happen? James, especially you, seeing you're a minister.
There's what we call faith.
Okay.
And faith actually is a substance. It's something.
Yeah.
Faith is tangible.
Yes.
And number two, faith creates pictures in your mind. So when you have faith about the future, you begin to dream. For example, you seated there as a news anchor. You saw yourself one day. You had that picture. It didn't just happen.
That
Yeah.
is so, sorry, I was I was saying that is so true.
Yes.
That is so true.
It didn't just happen.
It didn't.
Actually, what happens in life, you have visited that place before. Whatever you are today, you have visited that place before in your mind. And that's why, like even as a minister, as a pastor, we teach that faith is a substance of the things hoped for. It's the evidence of the things that are not seen. So when you have faith, what happens? It creates mental images about your future. So in other words, you could be in high school, but you're seeing yourself as an engineer. You're seeing yourself as a pilot. And somebody could be in the ghetto. You're so poor, you don't even have a way of going to outside this country, but your mind, you have already traveled in the future. And I'll make fun a bit, because when I was in high school, I used to tell guys, oh man, one day I'm going to travel around the world, preach the gospel.
So one day.
One day.
Yeah.
And so many years later, I did not know an airline agent. I did not know, I never entered a plane.
Can't afford to
I
get
can't
the plane
afford
ticket?
to, and I did not know anybody. But you know what? True to what I had seen within me, it happened one day. And actually, there's a man who wrote a book, As a Man Thinketh, which is Proverbs 23:7. James Allen wrote a small book called As a Man Thinketh. And he says you will always gravitate in the direction of your most dominant thought. You'll always go. What you keep thinking about most, whether it's an enemy or a friend or somebody who hurt you, And that's why you find people who are hurt, raped, or people who are abused sexually, they end up being abusers, or they end up being more spoiled in that area. And when you see yourself and have that picture, it's going to happen in your future.
Oh, wow, that is incredible. And we all have stories like that, don't we?
Yeah.
And I will also give my personal testament in just a bit. But Jeff, how has that happened with you as well? He's told his story, how he wanted to travel the world. He's now traveling the world. He didn't have anything, not even a passport. And what story do you have?
Well, for me, I'm the why guy. So I want to know why. Why do you want to travel? Why do you want that car? Why do you want that marriage? If you can get clear, and why people get disappointed is because you create this dream that looks like when I get here, I'll have total happiness. But then it's not an end goal. It's a means goal to an end. So that's why people are still frustrated after you get the best car in Kenya, and you are still unhappy in that car. You're still crying from people crying their cars, big cars. It's because they set a goal, they have reached. The worst thing in life is to be successful and not be fulfilled.
That is what I was going to ask next, but it's okay.
Yeah. That's the worst thing. If you're successful and you're not fulfilled, that's the best definition of failure. Is I was successful and I was unhappy. And that's the highest human frustration. Is that Jeff gave his best and he reached the peak and he wasn't happy. I mean, it's because, we are pursuing goals that are means goal. A car cannot give you happiness. Even marriage cannot give you happiness. Look for what is it that I'm looking for. Be very clear. In coaching, we say clarity is so important. Be clear. Like Steve said, if you don't know where you're going, you might not get there. You get somewhere.
But
somewhere will be a destination.
Which is so interesting. Why is it, Yusuf, for a lot of people who live, when you don't have a car, when you're just, surviving, you believe when you become rich, that is it. You will be the happiest person alive. How is that not tied into one another?
Jeff, when you were speaking, this reminds me of a story. I'm a Christian, and there's a story in the Bible that is actually even known by a non-Christian of this guy, and his name is Judas Iscariot. He was so happy selling somebody out, and he got the money. But after he got the money, he thought he had success, but he became so miserable, he actually went through away the money and committed suicide. How miserable can someone become? You cannot become happy because you have got money or anything. It has to be something, you see, I call it creative expression. Whatever you want to achieve, is it going to give you creativity? Is it something that is going to expand your creativity? Is it something that is going to give you fulfillment and all that? When James talked about how he envisioned himself traveling the world, I remember that when I was a young boy, I am the firstborn in our family, I used to tell my sisters and my brothers, sit down, let me talk to you. And I would speak to them, imagining that I was speaking to millions of people all over the world. In fact, I would stand in front of my mirror and I would imagine I was speaking to television cameras. Now, look at what's happening now. That's what I'm doing.
That's what
you can never travel without if you don't travel within. That's good. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Are you guys being inspired? Because I am, and this is an incredible way for me to spend my morning. And we hope that you are as well enjoying yourself and learning and just absorbing all of this information, because that's what it really is. So we're going to try and tweak and see how we could teach you, or they could teach you, they're the experts, on how you can, train your mind to be more positive, to be more inclined to only noticing the opportunities and accepting the failures, but not letting that bring you down. All right, so the hashtag is K24 Alfajiri. You can call us live in studio and tell us what you think about it. Get to contribute and send in your opinions as well. You could do it online and you can do it on SMS. The number is 20001. Now, James, we all have friends. We have that one friend who constantly complains. Can that come to me? Can that bad cloud come to me? As we're Africans as well. Yes. So we all have that one person who constantly just feels bad and is just sad all the time. And when we're around them, we're not happy. What should we do? Should we try and make them happy? Should we just let them go and cut them off?
I think we are a product of our environment. And you work with chicken, you'll be like chicken. You work with eagles, you're going to be like eagles.
Sure.
So, and then you realize that places matter. Like pineapples growing thicker, coconuts in Mombasa. So your environment determines what you produce. You see, the environment you create determines the future that you create, you produce. So if you're in a negative environment all the time, it's going to affect you because what's around you will come into you. So I usually tell people, if you cannot change the person who is around you.
That means you should try?
Yeah, you should try. You should try to motivate them. You should try to maybe lift them up. But if you realize that person has made up their mind not to change, then you need other friends. I have written a book called 7 Reasons Why There Will Be a Shift in Your Circles. And I say that your average income actually is also, your income is an average of your 5 friends. Like if you have 5 friends you work with all the time, you realize your salary is, bracket is the same. And if you want to go higher, you have to look for somebody who's higher than you and bring them in your circle.
So is that fake? Are we, because we could all go out there and get, you know, a governor as a friend, and, you know, and hang out every day with Chris Kirubi, my boss at Capital, and would that be fake, though?
Let me say this.
Yeah.
In life, the people you work with, they tell about who you are.
Yes.
For example, there's no way you can work with drug addicts or people who abuse drugs and not abuse drugs. You know what I mean? And that's why if you want to be successful, you have to introduce into your circle people who are also successful. Because there's something called the law of attraction. The law of attraction. Who you work with, they tune you. Everybody has a vibe. You have a vibe. You marry somebody of your vibe.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning, you go, maybe you're a waiter at a restaurant, and you have a bad attitude. Nobody's going to give you a tip. But if you're there, you're really happy.
Exactly.
You know, you're really excited,
Yes.
you're really cheered up, you know. And by the way, we forgot to tell you happy birthday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. But
We have to pick a call. I'm so sorry, James.
Okay.
1 second.
Yeah.
Good morning, K24 Alfajiri. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
Who are we speaking to?
You're speaking to Eric.
Hi, Eric.
I'm fine. How are you?
We're fantastic. What is your comment or question?
Oh, my comment is I just want to applaud the 3 guys.
Yes.
And they're honestly like the 3 wise men in the Bible. Those guys are really inspiring me here and my wife.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
they're positive thinking. And I have nothing much to say, but kudos to the 3 of them.
All right.
There
Thank
is
you very much.
very many people there.
Thank you very much, Eric. We do appreciate that. And sometimes that's all you call to say, that you are enjoying what you're watching. Now, James, as you were saying, and bad service is terrible.
Yes.
And when you go into a restaurant and you find a really good waiter, you find yourself overbuying. Now you bought chips you don't even eat, you don't want. That's because they're happy.
actually, there's something called the law of attraction. I remember sometimes we went to a restaurant outside the country, and it was closing time. We were so tired coming from meetings. It was like 11 p.m. at night, 15 minutes before the closing of the time. We met this African-American lady waiter who served us as if it was early in the morning. And by the time we were leaving, I told guys, man, bring all the money. Let's make this girl's day. So the law of attraction says who you are is what you reproduce. If you wake up in the morning, oh man, it's a bad day. Oh man, I don't feel like serving. Let me tell you, that's what you're gonna, those are the signals you send to people, and they send them back. That's how life is. When you wake up in the morning, you go sending signals, even on the traffic jam, your anger, and that's what you get. It's actually sowing and reaping.
Yeah, and then you know, it's like when you go to work, right? You go to work and the elevator is not working. So you have to take the stairs, 19 floors up. That is not funny. So you take the steps, then you reach there, then you're called, someone has hit your car. And are those things that I'm giving off to the universe? Or is it just a bad day?
No, actually, let me bring a twist to this.
I'm so sorry, Jeff. We have a caller. Good morning, K24 Alfajiri. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay.
What is your name and where are you watching from?
Agatha, I'm watching from Kitengela.
Yes, Agatha. What is your question or comment?
No, I just want to say I'm so very much inspired. I'm so grateful
Okay.
to the panel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm just so inspired.
Oh, thank you so much, Agatha. I'm loving the phone calls. Thank you so much. Keep on calling. Keep on calling
That's
and,
so
and
kind
talking
of
about.
them.
It is very
Let
kind.
the people call you
Yes.
to tell you that you're doing
You're
something good.
inspiring them.
Because you're impacting their lives. And hopefully today, when they go to work or as they start their day, they'll be more, positive about it. So we were talking about the vibe that you give to the universe, as James mentioned. So I'm having a bad day. Is that not a normal thing?
I was saying I want to bring a shift to that.
Okay.
Because if you imagine that life is always going to be good and that there is nothing is going to bring fear, worry, and all these other emotions, you'll be lying to yourself. A guy is going to step on your foot and you're going to get angry. It's a fact of life. So now how do you get it to the next level that I can maintain my identity? And we are our identity. By the way, people get hurt when they feel that their identity has been violated, sometimes by themselves. So the first thing is get to define yourself. Who are you? Because is that identity that you take to the lift, is that identity that you take to work, is that identity you take to your relationships? There's a story about the scorpion and the frog. And they had a little conversation. And the scorpion asked the frog, could you take me across the river, please? I'm going to die here. My family is on the other side. Could you take me across? And the frog said, no, I don't think so. Because scorpions, they sting frogs. And after a little talk, the frog said, okay, because the scorpion told the frog, you're not like every other frog. You can give me a chance. And the scorpion came on top. And true to the scorpion's identity, the middle of the river, it stung the frog. And the frog is like, how can you do this? I'm going to die. You're going to die too. And the scorpion is like, it's because I'm a scorpion. I sting. Now, when you get to a place where you realize life is both, throws those things, but those things do not have to define me. I can go through an experience that is stressful, but it doesn't make me stressful.
So,
and actually in coaching, we train people on how to use negative experiences like fear to push you forward. Because let me tell you, if you're afraid, that's a good energy. Because what people who are afraid about being poor, what do? They invest. They work hard.
They buy land.
They buy land.
They do this. They research.
Yes, they research. They work hard. They wake up when others are asleep. It's because they are being driven by what? Fear.
Yeah, even for exams.
Yeah,
you have
even
people
for
waking
exams.
up early, sleeping late, so that you don't fail the exam.
Yes, and we talk leverage is about getting advantage from pain and pleasure. Now, there are things that pull you forward, but there are things that push you forward, like pain.
Yes.
I say, no, I don't want to live like this, so really I work hard, craft my life, I create life that I want, rituals that will create the identity that I want.
Okay.
So-
Is that the same push that's, when you're scared of falling sick, is that the same push you get so that you eat healthy and go to the gym?
It's the same.
Okay.
Like someone who is afraid to die young and changes their eating habits. They're really inspired by fear. Now, when we are afraid of fear, that's where the problem is. For me, by the way, I'm inspired so much by fear. When I get afraid or I get that sense of fear about something, I say, wow, what do I need to learn? Because it's a message.
It's going to be a learning experience.
Every emotion comes with a message. If you feel afraid, the message is get ready, get prepared. Maybe you're not as ready as you should be.
Yeah, or as you think you are.
Or as they think you are.
Because he said that people also think that they think, but they're really not thinking.
Exactly.
Now Stephen, there's also there's a question our producer Chege asks us all the time, and I don't know why he thinks he's a preacher, but every time after our show, he gives us a 10-minute preaching session. But he always asks us, what is your purpose? How do I find out what my purpose is? And how important is that in this journey of positivity?
That's a very important question. In fact, if there is any question that any human being should ask themselves is, why was I born? What am I here to do? And that's a question that I actually get asked most of the time. How do I get to know what's my purpose in life? You know, if you walk through life without knowing what your purpose is in life, it's like playing golf with a tennis racket. You will be experimenting, you'll be trying all this, trying this, but the moment you discover your life's purpose, it's like you have insured yourself against failure. When you discover your life purpose, even if you did whatever you did and didn't succeed, it's not failure, it's an outcome. It helps you, it shapes you. By the way, nothing improves you more than failure. Success and money can improve your situations around you, but they can never improve you as a person. It's only failure that improves you as a person. So it's very important that every human being must discover exactly why they were born. What is it that you are born to contribute, to add value, to create, to bring on board? What is it?
How do I know that? How do I know that?
I did a book called How to Home In on Your Purpose.
Okay.
It's a book that actually has 86 questions that someone must answer in order to kind of figure out exactly what their purpose in life is. It's not I can't give an answer in one paragraph, one sentence, that is what you do.
Right now,
it's actually a series of questions. You have to ask yourself intellectually, what are you inclined towards? Your emotions, what are you inclined to? Yes.
1 second, as you continue with the, okay, fine, continue. There was a caller, it's just gotten dropped. So what is...
It's something you need to look at yourself, evaluate yourself, your giftings, your skills, your talents, and all these things. What is it you're attracted, your interests, your hobbies, all these things. It's a combination of many things.
Yes.
It is not something that you bump into just like this. You discover it slow.
So it's a process.
But it's also a flow from discovering who I am. And actually, people work so hard getting to know what am I here to do? And that is useless if you don't know who you are.
Okay, let me just take a caller. Good morning, K24 Alfajiri. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. What's your name?
I'm Lillian. I'm calling from Kakamega.
Hi, Lillian. Habari ya Kakamega? Huko kunanyesha? Ni baridi ama kuna jua kama hapa Nairobi?
It's warm.
It's warm. Okay. So what is your question or comment?
So my question is,
Yes.
I'm married to a man who is like suffering issues to do with self-esteem. He has got low self-esteem and sometimes he feels insecure. So how do I talk to him about this issue?
All right, a very good question. So James, maybe you can take that?
Negative energy. And actually, let me bring another aspect to fear. Fear is deadly because fear is a connector. Just like as we are talking about positive thinking, the same thing about fear. There's this richest man who ever lived called Job. And he said, the thing I feared most has happened to me. Everything was taken, his family was destroyed. All his cattle, property, he became poor, he had wounds and all sickness. So we also, in retrospect, we need to be careful because what you keep fearing haunts you. And once it haunts you, it takes you to that thing. So there's an angle there we need to be very careful. And that's why we need to build ourselves to begin to think thoughts that are of greatness, of a great future. There are people who fear disease. You realize mostly when somebody is really getting, or when, as a pastor I tell people, when the devil wants to introduce something in your life, the first thing he does is to cause you to fear it. And for example, let's say marriage. A mate who is fearing divorce will happen. I can assure you it will happen. Because they want to control you, that you don't live. They want to manipulate you so that they keep you. And we are not supposed to handle each other, like she's saying about the husband. We're not supposed to handle each other based on fear, but we are supposed to handle each other based on love. Because love overcomes fear.
It does.
Yeah.
Every time.
Even for our children. You cannot keep a child in an atmosphere of fear. You keep them in an atmosphere of love. So you tell your child, oh, you know what, baby or darling, or whatever, you call them, you tell them, you can make it. you can do it. I love you, and when I'm taking you to school, be strong. But most of the time you realize, in older times, kids were told, you will never make it.
You know what's so funny? We used to be beaten before my mom leaves. She's like, just in case you do something silly. Eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Just beaten before.
Before, in advance.
It's
And
like,
you will do it.
And you will do something
You will
silly.
do it.
After all, you're
But-
paying the debt.
You're paying the debt.
I've paid the loan. I think
Yeah.
now I can
Yeah.
do something.
Yeah.
It's the same thing you're saying about a plant. You know,
Yeah.
you have to nurture it with love. It'll grow.
Yeah, yeah. So we have also to be careful in that aspect, because fear actually is energy.
Yes.
And actually fear is a connector. And faith is a connector. So if you really fear something, I
Yes.
can assure you it's going to happen. It's a prophecy, actually, for
It's
your
going to
future.
happen.
It's
So
going
then
to
how do you help someone, Jeff?
Actually,
As she
I
said,
was
okay, you
actually
wanna answer?
thinking about Lillian's question about the husband
Low
having
self-esteem and being insecure.
And Lillian, I think that's a good lady. She's thinking about her husband. Very few ladies actually would even be thinking about helping their husband. But unfortunately,
That's true. Wangekuwa namtukana.
yeah, unfortunately, many men, there are a few good men who are willing actually to receive help from their wives. Men actually tend to reject any sort of help or teaching, especially teaching, from their women.
That is so true.
So what I would request Lillian perhaps to do is, you know, she asked whether, how can she go about it? I don't think she would be the right person to do that, not
because
unless
he-
the husband is willing
To learn
from her.
Exactly.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So then
And
what
the
should
first-
she do? Should she
the
call a
fir-
pastor?
Yes, the first thing she should do, if I want to change you, the first thing, the mirror is I need to change myself. The person who needs to change is actually Lillian first. That pain she feels in her heart, that pain she feels, the guy could be living the life of his dreams. So the moment I feel I'm uncomfortable, we have a relationship and I'm uncomfortable, always when you work on working on the other person to change, you mess up the relationship. Change yourself. Focus on me. Focus on yourself. Actually, the best way to teach someone else to change is to see change in yourself.
That's why they say change begins with you, even with the world, environment, it begins with you.
It begins with you.
Okay.
So when I'm frustrated that you're not changing, and that affects my job, affects how I feel, then it has to get to a place where I say, no, by the way, I have a life. I need to raise these kids. These kids need a happy mom. So I need to sit down and ask myself, what is it that makes me happy? And how can I work on getting myself to that place? Now, if you can change your story, again, Lillian, it could be a story you told yourself even before you got married about who you are. If you can change your story, your narrative in your mind about who you are, happiness begins there. Otherwise, nothing outside you can make you happy, including a husband. Happiness is internal, and it has to come from changing that story to a story that you want.
Yeah.
So the question I would ask Lillian is, what kind of story would you want to have and create?
And
So
also,
then-
I think, you see, we don't know exactly what's happening in their relationship with the husband and all that.
Oh, that's why
Because
now you want a session
You know,
to
yeah,
understand.
it is
Okay.
a lot, because let me tell you, when a man, we tend to evaluate our essence of who we are by what we do. When a man loses a job, a man really goes down. It could be, and maybe this lady is thinking about this man who is down, because I don't know, maybe he has lost a job or business is not working, and then he's down. And of course, our interpretation is this man has low self-esteem. We really, we are beat. Men are we are hit hard when we lose. Because we evaluate who we are by what we do.
Identity.
And what you
Identity,
have.
yes,
And
what
what
we
you
do.
have.
When we lose that, and that's why you see when men lose their jobs, they go down.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
you already, but you see, that's because, and one of you had mentioned, it's because when you've already identified yourself with,
Yeah.
you know, material things,
Yeah.
if you lose that, then you've lost yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you already knew yourself, you haven't lost yourself.
Exactly. And you know, the powerful thing that just shows how powerful we are, all of us, is that we define ourselves consistently. Like someone defines themselves as overweight. Yeah, let me give an example. Define yourself as overweight. So someone says, I am, then dash. I am fat. And someone else with the same weight says, baby, I got this. I'm good
happy
with my
about it.
weight.
Yeah, I
I'm
got
happy.
base.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I'm
am-
here.
I
I
am-
have a
I'm
presence.
bootylicious.
You know.
Yes,
Yeah.
so you find other ways to define it.
Yeah, so the thing is, how do you define yourself?
Oh
The
my
moment you label yourself and say, I am fat, I am a fool, I am stupid, at the time you actually lock yourself into an identity. So the first thing is to ask yourself, what is the identity that has defined your results for the past life? Because identity defines the choices we make, even relationships, the choices we make for jobs. It's identity, who I believe I am. If you didn't believe about your identity, you will not apply for this job. It's a certain belief that you need to have on your identity. But the first thing is, define your identity. Who are you? Who are you really?
Yeah.
And yeah, from there now, how do I become consistent? Because if I've been consistent in defining the identity that I am fat, I am a fool, I'm poor,
Yes.
that identity I have the power to define, then I can create another identity. And that's what God in his own infinite wisdom created us to have that power at any moment to change our lives.
And
That is
just
so
and
true.
just for the records, nobody is poor.
Yeah.
Nobody is ever born poor. You may have been born in poverty, but you are not poor. You are wealthy. You are rich. Yes. You should never allow those poverty thoughts to come into you. You may have been born in poverty where there is lack, but you as a person, you're rich. You're wealthy.
With
you need
potential,
to
with
draw,
talent,
yes,
so
with
bring it
potential.
out.
Yes.
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 And to
Oh my
bring another
goodness.
angle to
Yes.
it is the desire to increase. We need also to bring some balance.
Yeah.
God put in us a desire to increase. And God kills anything that is not growing.
Okay.
Anything that is not growing, God will kill it. That's why even like in the Bible, Jesus cast a fig tree. He looked at a fig tree and said, oh, you are not producing. He cut it down. So anything that is not growing, sometimes we don't have to feel guilty because you're successful.
Oh my good, that's a fantastic point you've raised.
Yeah, you don't have to feel guilty because you can't go telling people, oh man, I failed my exams, oh, I'm having a good day. No. The only thing is we don't need to tie it. We
Yeah.
don't need to tie our happiness
Yeah.
to that. But the
Yeah.
thing is, even money makes you happy.
It does.
Yeah.
Why is
We
it so
have
wrong to say that?
Yeah.
It buys happiness.
Yeah.
Why are we saying money doesn't buy
Yeah.
happiness?
You know?
Money, especially today, would buy me a lot of happiness.
So we need to bring that balance. And let me finish on this. Let me
Wait,
finish.
James, we have a caller.
Okay.
Good morning, K24 Alfajiri. Hello? 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 Good morning. Hello? There we go. Unaitwa nani?
Good morning, naitwa Ruben.
Ruben, mambo. Unatizama kutoka wapi?
Morning.
Okay, fine. So there's a bit of a delay. We can't take that. So there's this, I don't even know what to call it, but if you're from Islando, like I am, and you do well in life, and your friends or people you grew up with are at the same level, why is it that you feel guilty to now go back driving or show them that you've succeeded? So you want to look as if even you're really not succeeding. Is that a mentality issue?
Actually, the thing is it's a long perception that we have had in life.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. The thing is in life, I talked about Job. Job, when he had nothing, nobody wanted him, his friends didn't want him, and nobody even visited him. But when he was restored and he had double for what he had, it reads that people came and gave him gifts. So the most interesting about life, even when you're down, I'm talking to the listener right now.
Viewer.
Yeah, to the
Please
viewer.
talk to them straight at the
to
camera.
the
Go
viewer.
ahead.
I'm talking to the viewer right now. Please put your best foot forward. Even when you're broke, don't behave broke, because people don't invest in the Titanic. People will not invest in a ship that is going down. You can go to a bank and say, oh, you know, I've lost the last 3 jobs, and you know, I've been jobless, I have nothing, please can you give me a loan? They'll not give you a loan. So the thing about success, there's also something about success that also makes us feel fulfilled, because a desire achieved makes a heart glad. The other thing is when our hope is deferred. When you fail, it connects with your heart also. It breaks you. It brings you down. So the thing is, for us to increase, for you to go back to your East Orlando with a car,
Yes.
it's good you
It's
go
okay.
there, but inspire them. Go
Yes.
and inspire them.
Yes.
You don't have to feel guilty.
Yeah.
Because nobody also wants to go back there. You're begging, you have
Yeah.
a teen,
Yeah.
oh, guys, help
But it's
me.
a feeling that people
Yeah.
have.
It's-
But actually,
yeah.
the feeling should be when you get there, you
Yeah.
should tell them, if I have done it,
Yes.
you
Do
can
it.
do it.
You can do it.
So
Yeah.
if I have done it from
Yeah.
Orlando,
Yeah. Yeah.
There,
And
I
the
just
thing
said-
is, we love the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so you've left the comfort zone of your friends at the level they were living. Then you go back, you feel,
Yeah.
am I missing something? Or so you're missing, there's a need. And like I said in the last show, there are 6 human needs that we try to meet with every decision and everything we do. The need for certainty, need for variety, need for significance, need for love and connection, need for growth and contribution. Now, when you grow and there's no connection, again, you feel there's something
Yes.
missing.
Yes.
So there's that need for balance.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a
let's
balance.
take a caller. Good morning, K24 Alfajiri. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
What's your name?
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you clearly. What is your name?
My name is Susan. I'm calling from Malaba border.
Yes, Susan. What is your contribution? What do you want to say?
I just want to say thank you. I've appreciated the topics. It has encouraged me. It has given me a new hope.
Thank you so
I
much.
just say thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much.
I think we should be having
blessed and
more
have a great-
positive
We
talk.
should. We really should. And it's because I think it's a really important big deal. And as you know, Jeff was saying, and I can't believe we're out of time, but he was saying how I had to have seen myself on this show. And I was telling you I'll share my story.
Yeah.
And it was very true. I did see myself on this show,
Yeah, you
but
did.
in 5 years.
Yeah.
And then I was called 3 weeks later after I told my husband, you know what? I want to do morning TV.
Look at
God will bring that.
Oh,
3
see?
weeks.
Here
I
you
get a
are.
call.
Nice.
The picture.
And I was so shocked, I almost fainted, and I told my boss the same story.
Yeah.
And it happens with everything that I have ever done. I bought a passport, I went to get the passport, and I didn't know why I'm getting a passport. I've never gone anywhere.
Congratulations.
And after a month, you get to travel, and it's just life. So how important is God in all of this?
You see, I think I actually keep saying that, allow me to sound a bit so spiritual. When God created the universe, what he did is, whenever he created the plants, if you look at how he did it, he actually created the plants. He spoke to the ground, said, bring forth plants. So the ground brought forth shrubs, herbs, green grass, and all those things. When he created the animals in the ocean, he spoke to the waters, bring forth animals that live in there. When he created the bird, he spoke to the firmament. When he wanted to create man, he spoke to himself. He said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Now, if you look at how he did the way creation was done, if you separate what was made from what it was made out of, it dies. If you remove the plant from the ground where it was made out of, it dies. If you remove the fish from the waters from where it was made out of, it will die. If you detach yourself from God, from where you came out of, you will be dead. You cannot succeed without God.
So then you start losing. That is so well said. We don't even have to go on. Now, Jeff, it is also very important for you to keep on telling yourself and trying to teach yourself how to stay positive and how to be positive. And we see so many people who don't even have jobs, but the way they dress, you're wondering, we have a gentleman here who works at K24, and every day he dresses in suits, and you'd think he owns the place.
Yeah.
But you constantly dress for the job you want.
an identity,
Not the
yeah.
job
Yes.
that you have.
Yeah.
So how do I teach myself that? What do I tell myself? Every day when I wake up, do I write it down?
People equal their rituals.
Okay.
And all of us have rituals, things we consistently do that define who we are. It could be a prayer you do in the morning, it could be
Yes.
meditation, it could be exercise, it could be
Meditation,
something, but
very
it
important.
defines you. But equal rituals are defined by standard. What is your standard? The reason the guy dresses like that is that he has set a high standard for himself. Now, forget about fulfillment if you're not the guy that sets a high standard. You cannot be fulfilled if there is no growth in your life. Now, the twist in that is you cannot have growth if there are no problems. The biggest problem we have in life is thinking that having problem is a problem.
Oh, it's okay to have problems.
It's
It is
okay.
good.
In fact, you
Learn
should be
from your
worried
problem.
when you don't have problems.
Yeah. You learn from your problems. That's what pushes you forward. Listen to every story in the world. Oprah Winfrey,
Yeah.
born to a 13-year-old mother, got pregnant herself and raped at 13 and gave birth to a stillborn baby. If you were told at that age that this girl would grow up to be
the
the
richest black
woman
woman in
she
the world.
is today,
She would not believe it.
You know, but she had to take charge of her life. And one day and she said, no, this is my life. I don't equal my story of my past. I can create a new story today. I have the power. And all of us, regardless of your history and where you come from and who was your father, or you were fatherless, you are here, you're breathing, you have a Spirit of God within you. I mean, you have the power to create your life. The problem is when we create the big goals that don't have, you know, manageable, they're not in manageable pieces. I tell people, if you want to be happy, see some progress daily in your life.
Yes, notice it. There has to
Notice
be
some
something
progress.
you did. Just one thing.
It could be, I meditated, I prayed for 5 minutes. That's progress.
Yes, you
You've
did
not
pray for
prayed
5
for a
minutes
year.
yesterday. Okay.
You know, that's progress.
So notice it.
If you can notice progress,
Yeah.
you're going to be a happy person.
Because now you only notice the good. Now, real quick, let's talk about people who constantly speak negative about you, constantly bringing this anger towards you, and we have no time. And just you have to talk under 30 seconds, which is hard for a preacher. But they're haters. We call them haters.
Yes.
So what do? You have all these people who hate on you, then you start questioning yourself.
Yeah.
What do we do?
I was teaching the other day this week, and I was telling people that it's not what people say about you that matters.
Yeah.
It's how you take what they say about you that matters.
So when they say I am mean,
Yeah.
and it's not true, so I
Yeah.
just say,
It
okay.
does not define you.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
it's how you take it. It's not what they say
Yeah.
that affects you.
Yes.
It's how you take that. That's what affects you. And actually, you see things as you are, not as they are. You see things as you are.
From where you're sitting.
Yeah, from where you're seated.
Wow,
Yeah.
I think we need to have like 3 hours. Next time we're going to have it for morning exchange, to go with it for up close and personal, and finish it up on social hour. But before we wind up, let's take a look at our trending video this morning.